I'm really a sprinter, you know, like 400 meters is my distance, right? And so for me to do a long distance is a lot of work and a lot of challenge, and I think I respond to that. Completing the marathon just feels so good. I've actually only completed 2, but just you know, just the process of getting there and finishing it just feels very good.
Jim Estes is training for the Ottawa Marathon in May. It'll be his 3rd, and he hopes to beat his PB, his personal best.
My current PB isn't very fast. I ran Ottawa last year in 4:54. So I'm hoping to beat that. I want to feel good at the end of the race, which I have not done a distance race yet where I felt good the entire distance and feel good at the end of the race and feel, you know, happy and energetic. Usually it's just like it's a struggle, you know. So other than a time goal, I want to do a race and have it be a fun and enjoyable experience the whole way. The challenge, of course, like any marathon, that is finding the time to train for it.
Jim has a chronic tendon problem in his right foot that could create some difficulties during his training.
I can't make an arch with my right foot, so it hurts quite a lot, you know, all the time. It seems to be getting worse, but if I get my arch support just right, I can run with it. I'm making my own orthotic, so I keep changing that, you know, I keep adding layers and taking off layers, and so it's kind of a challenge just to see if I can keep my foot together for the runs.
Having successfully completed a 50-kilometre race, Sarah Montgomery's goal is to now train for a 50-mile event.
In a 50K, I don't know if I get enough of a glimpse of the appeal of an ultra. That's why I really want to run a 50-miler eventually, and you know, if that goes well, then maybe a 100-miler after that. But I got a glimpse of it when I did Rock and Ice, because it was 3 days back-to-back of about a marathon distance each day, but it was on snowshoes. So it was a long time out there each day. And by the 3rd day, it was amazing. Like the feeling that you have of just being, nothing else matters. Everything's just sort of stripped away. And it was I've never had that feeling before, and I'm very curious about it. It was, it's hard to describe, but it was just very meditative and sort of a very peaceful feeling. And yeah, things hurt, but it almost didn't matter. It was very peaceful at the same time.
A competitive runner, Derek Spafford is focused on being as fast as he can be.
My primary running goal is to increase my speed over the 100-mile distance and run some faster times and be competitive with many of the other ultra runners around.
Oh man, this fresh powder from the storm is just too beautiful not to share. Gorgeous day out on the trails.
For ultramarathon trail runners Derek and Sarah, finding the time to run the long distances required to train for a race can be challenging.
I try to get out twice a day, probably about 13 runs a week, and anywhere sort of in the 15-hour to 20-hour range is sort of normal. I have my own business, so I'm able to sort of juggle my hours around a little bit, and so I have a little bit more time in the morning, and I generally tend to do a longer run in the morning and then go a little bit shorter in the evening.
I can run on my lunch fairly often, so that's helpful. And then when I get home, you know, it's I think a matter of priorities and finding the time for what's important to me.
Derek and Sarah are both recovering from injuries, which makes running the required training distances even more challenging.
After a stage race in Yellowknife last March, I've just been dealing with a hip injury and a bit of a torn hamstring. So I trained all through the summer after, and it just progressively got worse. So right now I'm coming back, and it is improving, but it doesn't heal very quickly. So I'm hoping as well to hit a 50-miler in the summer.
After the 100-miler last fall, I injured my knee from starting back into training a little bit too quickly, and it's been a bit of a stubborn injury, but the last month or so it's really started to turn around, and been able to get some decent training in.
This is a light therapy system that uses infrared light to basically speeds up the healing process. Rehab's sort of finally paying off. Had to go through laser therapy, chiropractic, physio, active release therapy, acupuncture.
I'm not out of the woods. If I did something stupid, I could set my knee back, but I kind of feel like I'm moving forward now and feeling very positive about that. I've got a running streak, and I haven't taken a day off of running since, well, for over 20 years. So I've run every day. There was a point in the fall where I was thinking I might have to take some time off. So that was kind of a tough one to deal with.
My friends have mentioned that with both Derek and I being injured, they wouldn't really want to be in our house right now.
Why's that?
Just because we're probably a little more on edge and not getting our daily outlet of as much exercise as we're used to.
On the next episode of 26.2 and Beyond, Jim and Jan lead their running room marathon clinic through a tough hill training session, and Sarah gets treatment for her frustrating hamstring injury, while Laurie hits the streets in search of the right running shoe.